Greetings, young people. Blessed love. We got a couple of things we're going to be talking about in this class. I wanted to make sure everyone can hear me clearly. If you guys got a chance to print out this chart, this is one of the charts we're going to be using for our exercise. Can everyone hear me clearly? See the board clearly? Says anything. Everything's good? Great. All right. Well, we're about to get started. Y'all people, we've been waiting on this class for about a good month and a half. Trying to get people interested in actually correcting their own eyes, their visions. And the thing is with people, I don't know if they're so interactive or wanting to just be proactive about fixing their eyes because the doctors has already told them that it's just going to be a degenerative situation with your eyes. Now, that's the wrong way to look at it. We all can exercise and adapt to certain things with our eyes. The eyes is the window to our soul. The eyes are not actually what sees, but it's our brain that actually sees. So it's the window to a lot of the different diseases out there. We can see what's really going on behind the iris, the pupil, the cornea. And, I'm going to talk about some anatomy. And I just want you guys to think about certain situations like if someone hits you in the back of your head, right in the back of your head here, and you're going to see flashing lights. You probably wonder why, because there's an occipital lobe that's back there. And as I talk about the anatomy here, you're going to see how these things actually connect, and we'll be able to figure out how to actually correct it. So our occipital lobe that is in the back of our head also is connected to an optic nerve that is in the back of our eyes. Now guys, I don't need actually glasses on. This is just a look as a teacher, but I like to wear my glasses just for that look. The optic nerve is allowing us to transfer the visual information to our occipital lobe. Now, the optic nerve can be damaged, and we're going to talk about some of the 5 most common diseases when it comes to our eyes. But the optic nerve has to relay messages from the retina. Now, the retina is a sensory membrane, meaning that it's at the back of our eyes that controls how the light is actually striking. So there's different photons and different wavelengths or rays that the light actually enters into the pupil. But the retina is able to relay it to the optic nerve. So inside of our retina that is here, way in the back of our eye, it has something in it called cones and rods. And these cones and rods are only seeing colors in blue, green, and red. With that spectrum of light, you're able to make all the different rainbow colors. And if you think about an MRI scan, this spectrum of light is able to see 450 nanometers of light. So in the retina, this is all has to do how these electrical signals are relaying back to the optic nerve. Now, right above the retina here, we have the macula. Now, the macula, you always hear somebody talking about macular degeneration. This is responsible for our 20/20 vision. Some people are 20/40, some people are 20/60, 20/80, 20/75, all those different ways to see which eye has the best vision or the poorest vision. So the macula is responsible for having that 20/20, that center vision that we need to be able to see. It's an oval shape and it's right above the retina. Now, inside of our eye, we have this gelatinous tissue. It's another part of the organ that can build up this pressure inside of the eye. And we call it the vitreous body. And it's right between the retina and the lens. And all that gelatinous fluid that is inside of the vitreous body, we call it the clear, transparent vitreous humor. Now this can become very swollen. Like it can really swell up, really create a pressure. And this is what people have with hypertension inside of their eyes. We're going to talk about some of the conditions that this can cause. So moving along, we're going up outside of the eye, and we know that part to be this white part. It's covering 80% of the surface of the eye. It's called the sclera. Now some people you may see have that jaundice, that yellowing of the eye, or you'll see somebody that have conjunctivitis that has a pink eye. That's when you see that white color actually turn those colors. So 80% of our eye is the sclera, and it's made up of collagen. So if you lack in collagen or these elastic fibers, then you will see some of the yellowing of the eye just from the lymphatic system. Next we have the iris. Now the iris is this circular structure. Iris is a circular structure that basically controls the diameters, the size, and the amount of light that enters the pupil. Get another color here. So we know that to be the iris. Now sometimes you see people that have a blue ring around their eye. Now there's this ancient diagnosis chart called iridology. And they were able to see inside of the iris how the eye actually has diseases. So one thing that I know to be able to show, if this iris has a little bit of orange in it in certain areas before you hit the pupil, that would mean that they have a stagnated or congested lymphatic system. Some people have a ring goes around their eye that is blue, and this person would be more of a diabetic type of person. All right, so the pupil. Now we can go into the pupil. Now the pupil is just the opening of the center of the eye. Just to show you guys, we see the pupil that's right here, and it has that little bitty white speck in there. Now, this controls how much light is actually being dilated or being able to enter into the retina of the eye. Very important structure. So the cornea is next. It sits right in front of the pupil and the iris. So it's covering those, it's keeping it protected. And also, there's a certain part called the aqueous that is located right here. Now the aqueous, but first the cornea. The cornea has this lens on it and is able to bend the light. Say for instance, the person is skiing. He goes to Colorado, he goes skiing, and it's a bright sunny day. The snow actually has a way to blind you because it's really, really bright. So you need this cornea to be able to bend the light, to change the structure of how the light is actually coming in. So the cornea can become damaged and also become cloudy. And if it becomes cloudy, it's all because of the aqueous humor. Now the aqueous humor is a watery liquid fluid that comes out of this little area right here. Now this is how we maintain the right pressure inside of our eye. This intraocular pressure that supplies the nutrients also. So if the vitreous body, that vitreous humor that also creates the pressure, if that is basically too much pressure in the eye, it will start to leak out into the aqueous humor. Now there's a condition when the aqueous humor actually starts to cloud the pupil. So when you're looking directly at something and your peripheral visions are basically distorted, and it's all because of this cloudy fluid that's starting to take over your pupil. Now that condition, we know that to be as glaucoma. We're going to talk about the glaucoma in just a moment. Now, next to the aqueous humor, we have the ciliary muscle, or we sometimes call it the ciliary body. Now, this has to do with how, basically, the astigmatism. These muscles cause a oval shape or a rounding to the pupil, and basically being able to control that lens. So the ciliary muscles are right here, and it controls how we contract and release. So we got done with some of the anatomy, some of the physiology of it. So now we can just really talk about some of these conditions that's going on. Almost everyone, I can say almost 25% of all Americans are going through myopia. Now, myopia is simply the nearsightedness, the farsight, and basically always having this blurriness going on. But really, it's a a refractive type of error, and it's when certain close objects seem to be clear, but they're distorted, and some objects are blurred. And basically, some people are nearsighted, and basically, some people are farsighted. So this is when they give you these corrective lenses, and they may offer that type of treatment, or sometimes they have this LASIK surgery that they can offer. But this happens a lot when you'll start to see these symptoms of it. When you're really sensitive to light. Another condition based on your vitamin A, you can be having a nightness. At night you see the lights of the cars, or you have you squinting at night. But this is in the area of the cornea and the lens. And if you are always at a computer, or you're always looking into a screen that has a blue light in the back of it, then it can damage the cornea of the eye, because you're always in a contraction mode of doing nearsighted work. So those of you guys who are always at a desk job, you're going to see that your myopia gets worse if you're not doing corrective measures to fix it. You need to be able to look out into distances and exercise different objects of the eye, what you're seeing. So myopia, there is a chart similar to this. You guys can see this chart. This was something that you can do as an exercise. Basically, when you are at home, get yourself some corrective lenses that are from like a CVS, a Walgreens, and go up a notch. So if you're 20/40, go to 20/60. Okay, go into the blur that your eyes are seeing, so that when you get ready to read these exercises, you'll be able to pull it up to your face this way and read the smaller font and read some of the larger font. And as far as you move it back and forth with the blur, you want to focus on certain sentences, certain letters, and that way you can correct yourself. Correct yourself by when you put your glasses back on. So it's a way to adapt. It's a way to adapt your eyes, exercise your eyes, keeping your focus, that central vision, your macula, keeping that strong. So if you guys just check that out, if you haven't printed this paperwork out, that would be something you can work on, that exercise. So I would do that at night, right before bed. That way I'm comfortable and I can put these glasses on to correct my vision. So you can use those different levels, whether it's -1, -2. There's different categories of those corrective lenses, those reading glasses that you'll see at the Walgreens. So I hope you guys understand what I mean, how to correct the myopia. It's basically exercising those eyes and keeping your focus on small print if it's far away, and keeping your focus on larger print if it's close up. So now we can go into something called the cataracts. Now, this happens a lot in our older generation. About 200,000 new Americans each year end up with cataracts. It's something can easily be prevented. The way that you know that you're going to develop the cataract is your lens of your eye starts to fog up. You start to look like you are looking through a dirty window. And it's always blurry. You're squinting. And if you leave this cataract untreated, you will become blind. So one of the things that causes the cataracts to start, if a person is always on, I would say, some corticosteroids, these steroid medications that the doctors are giving us, maybe for autoimmune disease, maybe for leukemia, a whole bunch of different diseases. When it comes to controlling cortisol, they give you these steroid drugs. Also, statin drugs. Statin drugs control our cholesterol, and they have a way to disrupt our nutrients from getting into the eye. So a person that has cataracts, if you're on those drugs, you might want to leave those drugs alone, because it's going to make your eyes even worse. So the lens of the eye actually is hardening up. So what do you need to actually fix the lens of the eye? One thing you need is the sixth most abundant mineral of our body. And we start to lose it as we get older. And I call that sulfur. Sulfur is one of our beautifying minerals. So I have some things here that I'm going to show you how to make a solution. Something like MSM powder, dimethyl sulfate oxide. We're using that, and we're going to dilute it so we can actually start using them as eye drops. So the thing is, if you start to use the sulfur, you will notice that lens will soften up. All right. So the only treatment they have for cataracts is to give you surgery and actually remove the lens. We're going to make the solution in just a moment, but let's get through what's on the board first so we'll know what's going on with the glaucoma. I'm sorry, guys. I do have people coming in late for the class. I want to thank those who are online, because you guys really are supportive. But some people will come in physically to come sit down and learn some of the information as well. Now, for as glaucoma, you can have early stages of this glaucoma. It starts to affect about 200,000 new Americans each day. Glaucoma is very, very common out there. Everyone that's having this increased this increased intraocular pressure is really damaging the optic nerve. This pressure, like I said, builds up in the vitreous body and starts to leak out of the aqueous humor. That fluid gets around that eye and starts to cloud up everything and blur everything. And now you're on this seeing halos around the lights and everything. You're squinting. So what can happen? This can happen usually at any age. You have this constant redness in the eye, and you need to. I have an exercise here that we both going to go over. I want to give you this.
I can't say. I want to talk to you.
Okay.
I'll have to come back.
Okay. Well, this one little exercise helps us get back our peripheral vision. So if you have this chart right here, print that out, and you'll be able to start the exercise. But you put your nose up to the paper, and to the part where it starts to blur, you want to focus your peripherals on the 12, on the 1, on the 2, 3, and you go around and you're actually exercising your peripherals, and you focus on it really, really slow. You can try this exercise when you're, at night, when you're comfortable. And if you do this 3 times a day, you'll see that your peripheral vision actually starts to correct itself. And using the sulfur method will actually help soften up the lens and give nutrients back to the retina of the inside that vitreous body. A lot of times the glaucoma actually happens because of the myopia situation. And also people that have to be on steroid medications, the corticosteroids. High blood pressure can cause the intraocular pressure, and having just a thick cornea. Okay. Having just a really thick cornea. Now, if a person is on beta blockers, that's what they would give them to try to calm down that intraocular pressure. And they also will offer someone laser surgery, and they have these special saline drops, and that's pretty much just sodium and water. But that's how you fix glaucoma. Glaucoma, we're going to use a couple of materials that's here. I'm going to wait till my assistant gets back so he can show the camera on how we're going to fix the glaucoma. But we have things like astigmatism. Now, this is a really, really common condition. Okay. This is a very, very common condition. 3 million Americans every year is going through astigmatism. And this can happen up from birth, guys. It doesn't matter how old you are, astigmatisms can occur at any time of our life. It's just simple like myopia, but there's a refractive error when the light fails to come to focus on the retina. The cornea ends up curving. So this is our pupil right here, and the cornea sits in there, and that pupil will look like a football. So this side of the eyes actually has a twist in it. So a lot of eye doctors, naturopathic eye doctors would say there's a twist in your spine based on your astigmatism. I'm still trying to understand all of that, but I can see where they're coming from when they're saying there's a twist in the spine when you have this football-shaped cornea. The only thing they offer for treatment for astigmatism is LASIK surgery or corrective lenses. So how do you know that you have an astigmatism? Well, you always have a straining in the eye, light sensitive, very similar to myopia. You can have headaches, or tension in the eyes, and also you can have a lazy eye. A B1 deficiency is called amblyopia. You have seen that before, like Bernie Mac or Forrest Whitaker. They all have astigmatisms, and they also have amblyopia. So that happened something early in their childhood. All right, so that exercise, when it comes to this, is also a way to correct that football-shaped cornea. So guys, try that out at home. I know that will really, really help you out a lot. There's a good eye doctor online called Lou Anhart. Dr. Lou Anhart. You guys can look him up because he does a lot of the same exercises, and they have really helped a lot of people recover their vision. I was going to save the blue light for last and go ahead and start to show you how we dilute the DMSO, the MSM. We're always using distilled water. So let's get set up to make some of the solutions, and you don't want to use 100% DMSO. That will really sting a lot. The most you can do as far as the DMSO is around 40%. That's the highest you can take it, but most people use it at 30%. So we're going to make a 30% solution of DMSO. I sell DMSO in my store, so you can actually order it or anything online. So in order to get down to a 30% from 100%, I use about 15 milliliters, which is 1 tablespoon, and so 15 milliliters is 1 tablespoon, and I need to add about double that. I would say 35 to 40 milliliters of water, of distilled water. When you're using DMSO, know that all the research studies show that when you do it transdermally, it actually softens up and beautifies everything. So if you had acne, this will penetrate the dermal layers and basically disinfect the acne, the pores. So I'm going to add about 40 milliliters of distilled water, brought it up to like 55 milliliters. Now, since this is a sulfur, it always needs a salt. Just like saline, it needs a preservative. So when you're using this as a solution, you want to make sure that you add salt to it. Always use natural sea salt. So this is the solution to fix cataracts. And you use it for also glaucoma as well. The salt is actually dissolved. And I don't even have my I'll use this one to spell. And you'll feel the DMSO is really warm. And you guys can do your research. Please always do your research. You don't just take my word for it. I've done my research on eye health. So this would be your solution of DMSO to enter the eye. And you put about a drop in twice a day or something like that. All right, so the next thing we will make is going to be the MSM. Now, MSM is also a sulfur. It really helps soften up a lot of things. Even as far as inflammation, anything that deals with inflammation, you want to use a sulfur. So I'm going to add, these are 1/4 of a teaspoon. I'm going to add a tablespoon Now these are crystals, so they will dissolve really fast in the water. Like I said, always use distilled water because it doesn't have any other minerals in it. Once you test the water, it should be at a complete zero. Alright, so we're here at a tablespoon. You want to add maybe, I would say 3 ounces of 3 ounces of water. Same thing, add a little bit of salt as a preservative. So if the person has glaucoma, you want to use the MSM. Now there's a lot of foods that you should be eating while you're trying to correct your vision. Now certain foods like blueberries, anything that has lutein in it. Lutein has a carotenoid in there that helps basically provide your eyesight with the right type of lutein. That's the only nutrient that it really needs. So anthocyanins have a lot of lutein in it. So blueberries, raspberries, blackberries, elderberries, gooseberries, juniper berries. The person was a diabetic retinopathy person, and he's lacking chromium. So if you had some chromium, you might want to throw a little drop of chromium in there. So we're fully dissolved. Those substances are dissolved. And the same thing, I will make a solution out of this and make those as eye drops. It's pretty simple, guys. It's pretty simple. And these will be sold at the store. A lot of people may not know the chemistry on how to mix certain things, but I've just showed you the DMSO and the MSM. Now, I do have, I was supposed to brought that in here, but I didn't bring it in here. You can mix aloe vera. Aloe vera also softens a lot with the DMSO. So it will drive the aloe inside of the eye and provide extra nutrients. So use aloe vera, 100% aloe vera juice. And I will end up adding that to the DMSO. So we know how to fix that. There are ways. So as far as all of the anthocyanins, we know what foods to eat. We know a little bit about how to fix everything. So the last thing that I did not go over, let me get over here. We are faced against a lot of technology that is really hurting our eyes. We should be outside, not seeing the sun like we should. And if you're out there during the sunrise, that's the perfect time to look at the sun. A lot of people say don't look at the sun, but if you're out there, sunrise, go ahead and get that vitamin D into the eye. Now, what we're going on is people are stuck looking at their phones. They are looking at LEDs. The LCDs actually have a crystal display to it, but the LED is causing a reactive oxygen species in the back of our eye with the retina. It's causing the blue light is really deteriorating our cones and our rods. So I call it the blue light technology because if you look outside at night, all of the street lights have LEDs in it now. They have changed it over. And also, all of the TVs are not plasma anymore. They're not LCDs, they're LEDs. So the backlighting that we're looking at needs to be protected. So if you have a screensaver on your phone that can change the blue light, that'll be good. If you're looking at a computer all day, if you don't have a screensaver that can change the blue light, use lenses. Use yellow lenses to change the blue light to green. When you're out there looking at these cars at night, they have this blue halo around the headlights. It may be a good idea to start wearing If you wear shades in the daytime, you might want to wear them at nighttime because it'll block that blue light from entering your retina. So a lot of times people sleeping with their TVs on, and that blue light is causing insomnia. That blue light is causing our circadian rhythm inside of our hippocampus to think that we can't heal. We can't heal with this blue light on. So the blue light is causing the myopia. For the past, I don't know how long we've had these computers, these blue lights. A lot more people have myopia. A lot more people have astigmatism because it's constantly contracting to the blue lights of our phones, and it's kind of addictive. So this is the reason why certain people, their eyes are not really focused and can't correct themselves because of all of the technology that's out here. So I wanted to throw that in because the blue light is hurting our windows to our soul. So get yourself some lutein. Start making these supplements and make sure you're doing vitamin A. Now, vitamin A cannot be absorbed well in our liver if our eyes are bad. Now, retinol is a form of vitamin A that really is associated with our eyes. So the liver and the eyes is really connected. So use those liver flushes, supplement with vitamin A, the lutein, carrots, all of those things. You'll be helping yourself out greatly. So I hope that you guys enjoyed this lecture, this demonstration. Start using these supplies. So I want to thank you guys for listening. Shalom.